how do you kind of go about, feeling like you're in the right spot?
I think just looking at like Spartan Forge, I just study the map and some type of diversity, whether it is terrain or habitat, different age structures in the forest, cuts. Because deer don't live in just one type of habitat. It seems like they utilize a little bit from everything, whether it's a mature forest, uh, something that's 2 or 3 years old, um, or some type of thermal cover, or even terrain. So it's kind of like when you get your map, I just kind of will scroll around till I find that type of area, that has a lot going on. It's kind of busy. Yeah, maybe, I mean, within a square mile or less, depending on how vast the area is you're hunting, that has a little bit of everything that, deer are going to be using it. And then I'm also looking for hunter access, parking spots where they're going to be. But there's definitely, if it's good habitat, a diverse habitat or terrain, and there are deer there. And if it has, and another thing that I always say, if you're hunting mature deer, I feel like a mature deer has to have like a few things. I would always say to get to a mature age, um, like in cover is definitely one of them. You need to be in an area where they have security cover, or rugged terrain. There's areas that I've hunted deer to, you can't get to them just because it's so rugged, or, it might be a mountain valley to where, or some couple fingers that are jutting off a ridge system that where, they'll just lay in the middle one and look around and you can't really get to, you can't drive them, like, um, and then the other thing is, just something where there's a combination of those two, or what, you know, something inaccessible for humans, you know, whether it's an island or, um, like you said, maybe a big bean field. It's so big that you can lay out in the middle, and you know what I mean? Just, something inaccessible, or the cover or the train or a combination of that, but just judging just the areas I hunt, I know, um, it has all that. So that's kind of already eliminated. You know what I mean? And then you start finding, that it has the diversity, like maybe cuts, or, you know, maybe a field somewhere, or just something, a lot of stuff, a busy area. Now, it doesn't mean that big mature deer is going to live there. Maybe there's a lot of deer there and a lot of hunting pressure. But if it has them three things I talked about, cover, terrain, or a combination, something inaccessible, hard to reach, way back in the woods, then there's a chance a mature deer is going to be there. Then you just kind of work your way out, and you got to then understand the hunting pressure and how the deer live, whether it's a mature deer or if you're just hunting small, younger deer. But you're going to have to learn that's going to be different in every area. And there's little clues you can find, parking spots, tree stands in the woods, and this and that. So then I'll start. And after so many years, I know exactly where I need to start going. Like guys are coming from here. So the deer is going to be back here. But then, even as uh, people become better hunters with all the information that's out there, podcasts, videos, and whatever it might be, guys tend to start going further back in the woods. Oh, they're back in here. And then a deer will start moving forward. And I feel like there's a cycle in the forest. I don't know. I can't put like a yearly or, whatever it might be, but like I feel like guys will hunt an area and the deer will move out, and then they might come back. There's times I hunted an area that was great, a clear cut. I remember one year, and nobody was in there, and this big buck was living there, and there was all kind of deer in there. And then the next year, guys moved in, and it was just ruined, And so I moved out, and a buddy of mine, I said, "You can go hunt this area." I don't know. I quit hunting. Guys are in there, and then the next year, he had shot a buck, and because the guys moved out, and he was in there having luck, and then the following year, a bunch of guys. So it was like, and that keeps you. That's why you always have to be scouting and running cameras and learning, just not from the animals, but the pressure that's put on them by people, and you could start figuring out where they are, and then you get into areas maybe where you never see people, and they go, okay, this you can kind of count on this area for a place that might be good for a mature deer. But Yeah, I think, if you know that it has the things to hold mature deer, um, then you just find that diverse habitat. And I say it like it's like a maybe a how they say, if you're a photographer and you take a picture, like you don't just put your subject right in the middle. You have like 4 points to it. Like you want something attractive to your eye. Like you want to, okay, this is good to look at. It's busy. It keeps my mind looking at different parts of the photograph. With That's how I look at my maps. It's like, oh, there's a lot to see here. There's a lot happening, whether it's terrain or cover or what. And with that lidar imagery on Spartan Forge, it's just an X-ray of the Earth, down to 1 2 millimeter, and it's like there's drains and stuff that you can't see on any topo map. So then you start seeing how the deer can move in around these drains or use the topo. You put it on 3D, and it just makes things really clear to how the deer are going to navigate. And it comes if you're in a more